Hi, I'm Peter. Today I decided to take Blue-Red Twin deck. It's probably the most popular deck being played in Modern right now. So most of you probably know how it works, but I will explain it of course. You run 6 copies of creatures that can untap permanent you control when they enter the battlefield, and 5 cards that can abuse this effect. Splinter Twins and 1 Kiki-Jiki. If you connect those two, 1 creature and 1 abusive card, you get infinitely many tokens, and you can kill your opponent with them. The rest is purely interaction and card manipulation. Ideally, you want to establish a creature on turn 3 and on turn 4 put Splinter Twin on it and win the game. The mana base is very strong. You are basically Blood Moon proof, which is very important in Modern. Twin decks actually play Blood Moons in sideboard. Also, you have very good colorless land in form of Tectonic Edges and Desolate Lighthouse. As for sideboard, it's rather straightforward. Like Ancient Grudges, the threat of Affinity is very real. Batterskulls. In fair matchups, you basically become a control instead of combo deck. You side out most of your combo and just try to grind them out with Batterskull. Relic of Progenitus. Some combo decks and Tarmogoyf, of course. If you play control matchup or against combo, counter spells along with Vendilion Click are your best weapon. Combust, it's extremely strong as it cannot be countered, and it kills both Pestermite and Deceiver Exarch. Anger of the Gods as a catch-all sweeper. Flame Slash as, of course, bigger creature killer. Spellskite, protect your combo from removal, or just kill a deck like Auras or Infect. Engineered Explosive, very versatile card, good in many matchups, and Twisted Image. I have also one in the main deck. They might be a little bit surprising, but they are very good. They can kill a lot of creatures in Modern, like Birds of Paradise, Noble Hierarch, Spellskite, Wall of Roots, Signal Pest, Ornithopter, while drawing a card. So it sounds really powerful, and in the worst case scenario we'll just draw a card on instant speed. To conclude, I wouldn't advise to take this deck for a bigger tournament. For sure it's fun, it has a lot of powerful cards, and generally good matchups against combo decks. But the disadvantage of taking such combo deck is that Abrupt Decay is hurting you a lot, and you have generally very bad matchups against Pod and Jump. But of course, it's very strong, and if you like killing people with infinitely many tokens, that's for sure good for you. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you guys.
Hello everyone. Today I decided to take the robots. To begin with, I'd like to admit that I'm not a huge fan of this deck, because simply when you're facing an unprepared metagame, you'll run over your opponents, unless they will be prepared, and if they will, you'll die to removal spells and hate cards like Ancient Grudge or Shatterstorm. As for the main deck, the shell is pretty standard. There is not much you can alter in the robots. My personal choice was to cut one Memnite for the Wielding Jar. Wielding Jar will be able to protect one of your many premium threats, whereas the only explanation for playing Memnite in the Affinity is, in my opinion, the Springleaf Drum. It's just a 1/1 in the world of 4/5s and 5/6 for 2 mana. On the other hand, we have to remember that this deck has a ton of good premium threats like Argbrand Ravager, Cranial Plating, Steel Overseer, Edge Champion or Master of Ethereum. I mentioned like 5 cards, really. They are all great and they are all able to kill our opponents with relative ease. And that's the best reason to play Affinity. You have to remember not to run too many colored spells, as this deck ideally wants to get rid of the cards in hand till turn 3, or at least be able to cast as many of them as possible at once. Running too many colored spells will enable us to do so. Going to sideboard, we have a sweet suit of hate cards against particular strategies. We have 2 copies of Thoughtseize and a Spell Pierce to fight combo and control decks. We have Blood Moon against decks which die to Blood Moon. We have Gravedigger's Cage against Malaria Pods, a Whip Flare and a Dismember to fight creature decks other than Affinity. Unfortunately, Affinity has to run 3 Ancient Grudges or other 3 cards that are hate against artifacts to be able to win a fair amount of games against the Affinity itself. Spells Guides are pretty self-explanatory as they proved to be one of the best sideboard cards for many decks, such as Splinter Twin or Auras. Illness in the Ranks is my personal favorite against the Splinter Twin. We have to keep in mind that Splinter Twin is able to gather its own combo on turn 4, being able to kill us very fast while killing our premium threats in the meantime. Edge Champion is a good creature against blue-white red control, or basically any deck filled with removal spells. As I said in the beginning, I'm not a huge fan of the Affinity, but if you're sure that your local metagame has forgotten about the robots, don't be afraid to force them to use some sideboard slots against the deck you won't be playing in the tournament after that. Until next time.